Deconstruction.
What's up, everybody? It's Hardy Construction. You can find us at hardyconstruction.tumblr.com, youtube.com/hardyconstruction, as well as facebook.com/thehardyconstruction with your host Comp and
Big Bertha.
And today's film is
The Toxic Avenger.
This is for Josh Month, and The Toxic Avenger is from 1984. It's about this. Tromaville has a monstrous new hero. The Toxic Avenger is, you know, it's funny because I think about it grammatically when I read it. Everything I say is like, and then it's like horribly does not match, so it'll fuck up my English, even though I'm one of the worst linguists in history. Tromaville has a monstrous new hero.
You're new to the language. We've discussed this.
The Toxic Avenger is born when mop boy Melvin Junko. See, that's weird. Melvin
his name is different.
Right, Melvin Junko falls
Junko
into a
or like Ferd or something, or
falls into a vat of toxic waste. Now, evildoers will have a lot to lose. So, what was your dad's affinity with this film, The Toxic Avenger?
You know, I used to watch a lot of Toxic Avenger, Class of Nukem High. Like, we used to watch trauma films together growing up. So I just definitely remember, like, watching this movie as, like, a fucking child. Like, I must have been, like, 5 years old or something.
So people people that aren't aware of trauma, what is trauma, Danny?
It's, like, the lowest budget fucking, like, horror comedy sort of things ever. And it's actually based out of Long Island City in New York.
Is it? I always thought I always mistook it because of Jersey. That's the funny thing.
I tried to apply as an intern there.
Wow.
I didn't get it though, but
and it's so funny because I think only one guy who's ever come through. I think was James Gunn. The
guy that did Romeo and Juliet, and then he went on to do the amazing Dawn of the Dead remake.
And he wrote that, and then he also just did Guardians of the Galaxy. And
right.
Also, I think it was one of the places that first played. I think they bought the rights for Cannibal, a musical from Trey Parker and Matt Stone. So they're always. That's why you see them pop up in a lot of Toxic Avenger films. The guys who made South Park. So yeah, my thing with Toxic.
I love the trauma philosophy. We should do a trauma month one day, but I love their philosophy. Basically, it's just like, you know, like the guy's like a fucking millionaire, but he makes movies like very low budget because you want to see what you could do with that amount of money. And
I think he's a hundredaire. I don't think he's a millionaire.
Come on, man.
And it's so weird.
Said, like just Toxic Avenger alone had like cartoons and fucking comics
and the face of trauma is.
Wait, say that again.
The face of trauma is.
Oh, Lloyd Kaufman.
Lloyd Kaufman, and there's always that other guy, Michael Hertz. I don't even know if Michael Hertz is a real guy, but it's
I read a book by him. I believe it was by him. It's called Make Your Own Den.
Yeah, I gotta take a look at that.
It's a good book. And
Lloyd Kaufman they call him Uncle Lloyd. He's like a very funny. He always reminds me of like Mel Brooks, but like sleazier.
Yeah, no, he's a really sleazy version of him. That's perfect.
And
I watched this on Netflix, and it was like the laser disc edition. Like it had like this whole.
Did they cut stuff out?
Intro. It had like an intro or whatever, and it's basically Lloyd Kaufman, and he finds Toxic Avenger like on the streets, but it's supposed to be like 20 years later, and Toxic Avenger is like this crackhead who sucks dicks for crack and like all this kind of shit. Is really stupid and like the dumbest type of humor possible.
I'm trying to figure out because I was very aware of the Toxic Avenger, but I never, you know how I was a chicken shit kid, and I was aware of the Toxic Avenger, but there was stuff in it that I did not want to like see. From the promotional materials, like I know sequences that I was aware of, like I might have looked at a Fangoria magazine, because remember I was such a retard that I thought Fangoria actually had people dead in it, like actual photos of dead people. I really thought, because I know they have that image of the kid with the when the car runs over his head, the bicyclist kid.
Yeah, right.
And I thought that was real. I mean, like I didn't know. Fangoria always spooked me because
the movie, like all of the trauma movies I'm familiar with, like. You know, even though it's so low budget, it like feels real. The violence,
it does.
It's really nasty
because it's very homemade looking cinema. And it looks like a snuff film. The whole movie.
Yeah,
and
it's like
but
dirty.
I was very aware of it, but my first, I think, real look into the Toxic Avenger was this cartoon show called The Toxic Crusaders, which was really weird because
they saved the planet, right?
Yeah, it's basically when Ninja Turtles, they made the cartoon show based on the like really gritty comic book where people actually get killed. Like Ninja Turtles killed people in their comic books, and then they made like they saw that there was like potential to make money off of action figures, so they made a really like PG or even G-rated Ninja Turtles cartoon show. So I mean, and then they did that with Toxic Avenger. So somebody was like, maybe we can make a Toxic Avenger cartoon. So they made it the Toxic Crusaders.
Was it good?
I don't remember. I think it was just like any standard like cartoon show back then. Like if I watch
I don't remember either.
Like if I watch Ninja Turtles now, the cartoon, I'm like, wow, this is not that good. You know what I mean? But then it.
It's great.
As a kid, you'll eat it up like nothing. You know what I mean? So, but the Toxic Crusaders was basically, I think his name was Melvin Junko in the cartoon. I think that's where the confusion comes from.
He has a name that starts with an F. Also, like Melvin Fend or
no. In this one, it's Melvin Ferd. Because it was weird. I saw the Toxic Avenger the musical when it was off Broadway, and it was really, really good. And it actually. I realize now. I saw most of the Toxic Avenger, but not all of it, because there was parts where I thought actual characters died and they actually lived in this. So I was like, okay, I guess I was wrong. But in the musical, which is like a sort of retelling of this one. His name is Melvin Ferd in the musical, live action musical, and I was like, why is he called Melvin Ferd? And I was like, did they call him that just to like?
Maybe his middle name is that, or Junko or something. And
no, because his name in the cartoon I think is Melvin Junko.
Oh, okay.
But there's totally like that. I know there's something that's weird about it, right? Because I know I was like, why do I know him as Melvin Junko? It had to be from the cartoon because Melvin Fern. Watching this, his name is Melvin Fern. They actually say it out loud. So I was like, okay, and his like mother's, his mother calls him Melvin Fern, so whatever. But that's how I was introduced to that, and I actually think I saw the Toxic Avenger 2 before I saw Toxic Avenger 1. And
I definitely remember that intestine jump rope scene, which you're telling me is from the second one. It's been a while.
And Toxic Avenger 2 is like PG-13 compared to the first one. It's really like, they cut out. I think what happened is that they figured they made some money with the first one, and they wanted it to be way more, audience friendly, not necessarily family friendly, because I do remember a part where
the first one is just comedy genius.
It is, it's great. But I remember the second one, the most ghastly thing in is that I think he threw a guy into a rose bush and he had rose coming out of his eyes, like actual thorns and roses coming out of his eyes.
There's definitely like a lawnmower on someone's head scene.
Something happened.
In one of the movies, I forget which.
There was some gruesome shit going on in the second one, but then they realized they might as well go back to like disgusting stuff, and they went to part 3, and that's when they had Apocalypse Inc., which I think was this like a businessman who was actually Satan in the third one. And like in Toxic Crusaders, they had I think Dr. Killimov, who was this 4-armed alien and shit like that. It was very like cartoonish, obviously because it was a cartoon. But this film itself, Toxic Avenger, now that I finally watched it, because I was just gonna like skim through most of it, and I really enjoyed the shit out of this movie. I mean, it might be the best Z cult film I've ever seen. To me,
yes, it's fucking great.
I mean, the budget alone, I think, was just to record Melvin Ferd going ooh, ooh, like the voiceover.
I love when he talks like normal, mixed in with the fucking grunting and shit.
Yeah, it's so it's so funny because Melvin Ferd, like when he turns into the Toxic Avenger, Melvin like obviously mutates into this gigantic like 7-foot beast that they say. And he has that bothered me when I first saw it, but now I find it funny is that he has this normal guy's voice,
right?
Which I guess would make sense, but he's always like,
he's a lot more confident and shit too as the Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, because the way how does it start?
There's a scene where it's him watching the bozo and fucking whatever her name is having sex, and you see his face watching it, and he's like. He's like waving his hand or something and like making this sick smile.
And he's going, ooh, ooh. They just like...
It's like the stupidest humor in the world.
It's like in post, they put like somebody just dubbing like the stupidest voices anybody can do in the world.
Right.
Like, especially like, there's 2 scenes that really stand out to me because Melvin's like this nerd who mops up he's a janitorial guy in this local, a spa, right?
Place that everybody apparently like lives in, like they're there all the time.
But there's 2 parts. One part when he's like walking out from his mom's house, and he just trips on the floor, and he goes, "Ooh!" Like, there's no reason to do that sound effect.
Yeah,
and then another part where they play a trick on, which leads them to becoming the Toxic Avengers. That they, the girl, I think her name is Julie. She's like, she tells him to get into this pink tutu, because everybody in the spa or the health place treats him like shit. They basically, oh, he's disgusting. He's the mop guy. He's
he
like,
kind of is disgusting.
He is, because he's like It was funny, like, no, don't take offense, but he reminded me of you, like, just being weird and stuff. I kept thinking, like, that could be Ddanny. It'd be awesome if they remade it. It could be you and stuff. That'd be amazing.
And I love how, I don't know if he does this in all his movies, but, like, definitely Bozo and Slug are, like, the two main guys in fucking Class of Nukem High. Like,
are they?
Yeah, and also there's a cop in this, like, the cop that is spying and says, "Oh, there's a girl in a bikini. We found the monster." Whatever. That guy is the guy that sells the radioactive joint, the radioactive pot to the Cretans in Nukem High.
I definitely recognize Cigar Face, because Cigar Face was actually in part 4 of the Toxic Avenger. Whoa, the music's great, right? Is that me? Is that you? Body talk. But Cigar Face actually shows up in part 4 in one of the funniest sequences, because he's like, he gets attacked. He attacks the Toxic Avenger at a hospital, and then the Toxic Avenger throws a bunch of syringes at him, and it like all hits him in the face at one time. And then he says, "Oh no, now I've got AIDS," and that's. And I was like, this is the stupidest shit I ever saw.
We gotta watch all. We definitely have
so
to do like
bad.
A trauma month or something.
But this movie,
so the remake though, like what is the deal with that?
From what I remember,
about it.
What I remember is that I think Platinum Dunes, who I think the guy like Michael Bay's company was, but this is all rumor. I don't know if it's true that they had a hand in it. And the most recent rumor I remember hearing was that they were gonna make it, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was somehow involved.
Oh, what?
But I don't know in what capacity. I think the storyline was that Toxic Avenger teams up with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I don't know who his character would be. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, it just sounds stupid. Is
it coming out? Like, is it out? I don't even know.
I don't think they're even. From what I know is that they were in the middle of making Toxic Avenger 5, the Toxic Twins. Because if anybody remembers what happens in Part 4 is that she gives birth to. It was actually pretty funny because there's another character in Trauma called Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD.
Right.
He in these movies, Melvin has a girlfriend who's blind, and Sarah. That's her name.
She's hilarious too.
She's fucking hilarious in this movie. Her name is Sarah, and she at the end of Part 4 she gives birth, but it's like a mini. It's a mini Sergeant Kabuki Man because she's blind. She doesn't know who she has sex with, but apparently in the 5th one. Because in Part 4 he fought the Noxious Offender, who was basically the split-off version of him. I don't know how that happened. It was a split-off version. He fought the evil version of himself. And in the 5th movie, which they made posters for it a couple of years ago. I guess they were shooting it, and it was supposed to be about the Toxic Twins. I guess one is a boy and one is a girl, and they're like his kids. And like Toxie was actually supposed to be like.
His is probably green.
Toxie is supposed to be like 40 years old and fat and stuff like that. It's like supposed to be like realistic, but I don't know. That's all. There's no word on it, and there was supposed to be a contest where people could actually pick one of the characters from Toxic Crusaders to actually be in the film, because I guess they own the rights for those characters, and it was between No Zone and Kill 'Em Off, and those are like the two characters that I like the most. I was like, why don't you just put both of them in the fucking movie? But I don't know. I don't know what happened to it. They just never said or did anything about it. Anyway, so Toxic Avenger, this film, the first 10 minutes feels like an 80s kind of sex comedy, because it's all these people and they're all like over the top. Like the humor is incredibly stupid, like really dumb.
They're so crazy. Like Bozo and Slug are like insane, and he like wants to kill people so bad with his car.
And I think Bozo and Slug, they made an amalgamation of those two guys into one guy in the Toxic Crusader cartoon, because there's like a guy, just like the Toxic Avenger has his heroes, in the Toxic Crusaders there's another guy called, that Kimoff has two mutants basically, and one of them has the headband of Slug. Is it Slug his name?
Slug, yeah.
And he looks like a skeleton, but he acts like Bozo. So it's weird. And I like Bozo's character, because he's so over the top. He always reminds me of like a fucked up, like, God, who's the guy? The guy from Greece, John. The guy who likes to allegedly ask people for hand jobs.
Oh, I know
John Travolta.
He's fucking
John Travolta.
This guy.
Yeah,
who's
Travolta.
Really famous, and he's in Face Off and
Travolta.
Not Taxi.
Travolta, yes. And
is he in Taxi? Wait.
John Travolta? No, he wasn't in Taxi. No, he wasn't. No. You're thinking about fucking what's his name? Who's the boss?
Oh, okay.
So anyway, there's Bozo and his girlfriend and these two other people, and there's something very creepy about what they do because they joyride and they like to hit people in cars, and
and the girls get sexually excited by it.
Yeah, which is pretty funny because if you do that in a dark film, that'd be pretty dark. But since this is like a weird guise of a weird '80s comedy, but it has obviously this dark elements in it. And I love the point system where they have Jews, blacks, and they don't use those words, the nice words. Jews, blacks, like whites, and whatever. But I like how it's like 25 points for them. But if you kill
it's so realistic when they hit the kid, like it really feels like fucked up.
The part that had me laughing the most is that the Puerto Ricans get 30 points if you kill them with a car. So I guess there might have been a Puerto Rican problem in New Jersey back then. And there is that sequence where you see the four of these guys, they're driving around, drugging, whatever, and Bozo's like over the top, insane character, and they run over this kid, and then they back up, make a U-turn, and they back up and drive over his head, and it's a pretty realistic looking. The special effects in this movie for like a Z grade film are really good, like. When Toxie is mutating, when the kids' heads are bashed in, and you see the girls taking photos, it's really like disgusting looking shit. Like the gore is really nasty. I remember watching the part where Toxie, like when he first does his first heroic
I love the mayor, and he's actually in. He's the guy that runs the radiation factory, the nuclear plant or whatever in Class Nukem High also.
Yeah, I mean, like I was watching him.
Died in real life.
I'm sure of it. Look at the size of him in this one.
Yeah.
But anyway, the way the film begins is with Melvin mopping around the place, and everybody in the health spa kind of goofs on him, and the Tromaville Health Club, and he's just with his mop. He's just really incredibly stupid. He's like puts his mop in the spa, in the heated pool where people are actually in. But he's so. I mean, his performance. What would you say about that actor's performance who plays Melvin?
Stupidest. It really is the dumbest type of humor like I've ever seen. And there's just like things that make no sense that are just so funny. Like there's like this police guy, the chief, that's just like kind of like a Nazi sort of. Yeah, and there's a point where it like pans to him doing his shoe clicking together like the way a Nazi would.
Or at the end when he Zig Heiles the air and the camera pulls up.
Just, like so. Nothing to do with anything.
The camera pulls up to see him actually Zig Heil, like for no reason. It's so stupid. He's like, "Ooh, and finally, the guy." Like he actually talks like that. But Mark Torgl, you know what makes me sad is that, like Mark Torgl, who plays Melvin, I wish that he was throughout the whole fucking movie too. Like if they found some way, because he was so over the top and goofy, and he's in it for the first like 22 minutes.
He did get his moments though.
He's in it for the first 22 minutes of the film when he's like regular Melvin, kind of goofing around, and they play a trick on him where the girl, is it Cindy? What's her name? The girlfriend of the main bad guy, one of the main bad guys, Julie. Sorry, she pulls the top off. She had a hot body for the 80s. You know what I mean? I guess girls had a hot body.
Terrible actress, but it works.
Yeah, everybody was a terrible actor in this movie, but she's
hot.
But
it like really works how terrible they are.
She puts him in this pink tutu, which becomes iconic with his outfit, I guess. But he didn't have the tutu in this. He had the tutu in the cartoon. The tutu burns off in this movie version, but they kept it for the cartoon. And it's like pink with polka dots.
Well, it's kind of there. It's just all like dirty and singed.
And they turn off the lights, and she's like, "Oh, she's making a movie. She wants to make out with him." And that leads to my favorite sound effect in the film when they turn on the lights and he's kissing a sheep. I like how they got a sheep in there. I don't know how they got a sheep in there.
Yeah, right.
And he's kissing the sheep because, "Oh, you're so soft, Julia." And then he looks and he goes, "Ooh!" Like, I wish I could.
I love how people like don't use their senses in this movie. Like, there's a scene I forget exactly what scene, but there's a point where he goes into the woman's locker room of the place as Toxic Avenger, and he's gonna kill the other girlfriend of Bozo's girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah, that was always I always saw
but another girl's walking in,
right,
like who's unrelated, and she doesn't realize or hear the screams, even though it's so clear.
I think
she
it
has
was
to visually see him to react.
Yeah, and then he covers his face in fear. It was so funny because Marissa Tomei is somewhere in this movie. They said her first
Really?
movie. Yeah, she just like walks out of a shower and that's it. I wish she was naked, but I don't know. Maybe she might.
That would have been great.
But wait, let me play my favorite sound effect in this film. Hold on.
You're so soft, Julie.
That's exactly. Ooh, ooh. Anyway, so everybody's laughing at him, and he runs screaming out, and he actually crashes out of a window into a pile of like toxic waste, and driven by two guys that were doing cocaine, just snorting in the bag.
Their whole faces are covered in it.
And I love it how he's mutating. He's clearly mutating, and these people are laughing at him. Like, he's obviously has toxic burns and acid and shit on him. It's just like his skin is turning purple in front of their very eyes, and they're laughing at him.
Right.
And he stands up and starts running, and it's like a pretty cool slow-mo shot of him on fire, running, like in flames. And then you just hear...
And why would he be on fire, too? Like, that doesn't even make sense.
I don't know. It was still a great image, but they keep playing that... what's that song, Night on Bald Mountain? It's like that famous...
Body talk, body talk.
No. Whenever he goes and like first starts kicking people's asses, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's called Night on Bald Mountain because if you're familiar with Disney's Fantasia, it's like that song that's always playing. Yeah, it's an insane, goofy film. And when he goes and he finds Sarah in the first, let's talk about the restaurant scene. How much of a masterpiece is that restaurant scene?
It's pretty good.
Get into it. What happens?
Well, there's this guy Frank and this guy Leroy, and I forget the other guy's name, and they're going to not hurt anybody
I think it's Rico.
if they get money, but then they actually just start killing people.
Yeah, I know. It's Frank, Leroy, and Rico. And it's so funny. The guy with the black name is the white guy, and the guy with the white name is the black guy.
Right.
And it's so funny because they actually had an actor. The actor who plays Frank actually has one arm in real life, and I knew that like a long time ago. Yeah, because if you watch the scene now, it's obviously a fake arm because he never moves that arm ever.
That's kind of awesome, actually.
It is, and then like, because the Toxic Avenger like pulls the arm right out of his like socket because I think he's trying to flip him over, but he just pulls his arm up on mistake. And there's just something. There's like a maniacal glee with this film because there's the characters that know karate and stuff.
My favorite part though is when he's like, he's very carefully like making one guy into ice cream, and then he puts it just keeps going. Like it's
I just
so
remember
stupid.
that
Like, the way he kills them is just so stupid.
That disgusted me so much when he puts the ice cream on the face and then he puts it's like a milkshake machine, so it's like a drill, and he drills into the guy's face, and you just like look because the sound effect is just like the guy retching and vomiting.
But the length of time that it goes on,
yeah.
like. You know, like, he could just kill them quickly, but
it's
he does, like, this whole fucking ritual to do it.
Yeah, it's very exploitative, and, like, the gore is really, like, violent, because there's, like, the part where he first saves this cop in an alleyway who's getting beaten up by a cigar face and two guys, like a cross-dresser, and, excuse me, I don't know. I don't know what to call people anymore these days.
That's fine.
And another guy, and he bashes both their heads in, and the side of their brains are, like, you can see them, like, after he smashes their heads together. It's, like, fucking crazy. Yeah, and then, especially the restaurant scene when he like, really destroys these guys, and the guy with, like, the half of a makeup face, I think, he quit the film after he had to point the shotgun at the baby.
Oh, really?
But he's in the rest of the scene, so I don't know. Yeah, and you actually see him later on in the film, because I guess they must have ran out of actors. But he actually, like...
What's that?
Apart. Toxic Avenger just keeps playing. I guess. Something is playing. You like that? That's new.
I like that.
That's a new part of the show.
There's a scene that I found so funny with that little midget lady, Mrs. Vankel, or whatever the fuck her name is.
Right.
And he throws her in the
she's like 4 feet tall.
machine.
Yeah, she's 4 feet tall. Because that was also like when I was watching the film. Because I was like, this movie is like half horror film, half like superhero movie. Because he kills 3 people, although 2 of them are obviously bad people. The 2 girls that go after Slug and Bozo.
Yeah.
That they're obviously they run over people unless Toxie was fucking psychic, but they were in on him, you know, that prank on him at the very beginning.
Yeah, how
which
does
turned
he know that these people are bad?
That's the
some
weird
of them
thing.
are obvious,
But
but
I mean,
he must
that-
have like some kind of sense to
Yeah.
know who's evil.
Because there's a doctor in Midway Snotsburg or something that explains that he's genetic, but even that is bullshit too. Like he knows what evil is. So for all longest time, I've never saw up to a certain point in this film. I remember him putting the girl's ass on top of the exposed hot rocks, in the
Right.
sauna room. And I was like, Jesus Christ, he just killed her. Like, he didn't see her actually do anything evil. I thought it was just like a revenge kind of thing. Which,
He just knows.
right, which to me I thought was like out of character. I thought he only kills like bad guys. And then the other part when he pulls the scissors up to stab at that girl, Julie. And I was like, wow, he really just killed her? And then like later on in the film you see the girl, like, she has to have like special pants on because she.
But I mean, they are bad though. They
are,
kill
right.
children and shit.
Right. So I mean, they actually deserved it, but there's no reason why Toxie would know unless he has a sixth sense. But then even with the little lady, the half
Yeah,
size
but how
lady,
do you know that little midget lady?
So
was
she
bad?
he
She
has-
ran a white person slavery ring.
so it's obviously he has sixth sense because that was also in the play. In the play for the musical for Toxic Avenger, he kills some random lady, and then that whole white slavery joke was used in there too. So when I saw it in here, I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense now. Like that.
Was the play as good as the Evil Dead musical?
I never saw the Evil Dead musical. I saw parts of it on YouTube, and it was such like bad quality, but it was really good.
I
mean,
saw that one. I never seen the
dude,
Toxic Avenger, but like,
it was really good. I mean, I won't. It was probably the most fun I've had in Broadway watching a show.
okay.
And but the only difference is that the mayor was a woman in the play version, but she was fucking funny, and she played two roles where she played the mother of Melvin and the mayor, who's like an evil mayor, and you can actually find the soundtrack online. It was a pretty fun soundtrack. It's like more rock kind of thing because one of the guys I think who works for David. Who's that guy? Not Van Halen. Well, some famous rock group. He doesn't.
David Lee Roth?
No. The other guy. The guy who. Oh shit! Who's that asshole? The Jersey guy?
Oh,
what's his name? Von something. Is
Billy
that
Joel?
No. He's a rock and roll guy. God dang it! I'm
Whatever.
gonna be stuck
Who
on
knows?
it.
Who cares?
I'm gonna be stuck. But anyway, but there's a whole scene
Bon
where.
Jovi?
Yeah, that guy. I think he works for him. No, but it was actually pretty good music. But anyway,
Okay, cool.
but there's a scene where the mother has an argument with the mayor, and it's obviously the same actress. So she
Okay.
has to keep running in and out of stage, like through doors, changing, and that was like the most awesome shit I've ever
That's
seen.
kind of funny. They're
It's
like
great.
going with the low budget shit.
Yeah, the play only had 5 actors in it, and they were listed as the white guy, the black guy, and Toxie, and his blind girlfriend, who I think was played by an American Idol singer. She was a hot chick, and then also the woman playing the mayor. But they were all good. I mean, it was such a good show that I wish they actually kept going on, but I don't know. They made a version of it in Korea, so there you go.
Okay.
In Korea, it's called Toxic Love. But anyway, going back to the film, it really is, that's what it's called. What do you think about the mayor as a bad guy?
I like that guy a lot, actually. He's like such a dick. And at one point, he smiles really evil. Like it's like a really
Yeah.
quick scene, but
But he
it's
has like
an
such a
evil
sweet,
smile.
he has such a sweet boy face. It's so funny. He's like this big chubby fat guy, and then that's what I remember like a lot when I saw parts of it is when the Toxic Avenger. He's like, "Let's see if you have any guts," and he pulls his organs out.
Yeah.
Just punches him in the stomach and pulls his organs out, and everybody next to it doesn't give a shit. I like that people are disgusted by what Toxie does, like when he kills somebody.
Yeah,
Like
but yet he's still a hero.
He literally like pulls people into pieces, and they're like, Jesus Christ! They're like really over the top, horrified expressions. Like the part where the guy that really stuck with me was the drug dealer that was inside the gymnasium, and then he puts his head into that the weight plates.
Oh, the weightlifter thing. Yeah.
And it's a really good effect because the top half of his head gets smashed off, and there's like puppetry to make his face move and a tongue sticking out, but he has no top of his head. It's really grotesque. I mean, it's grotesque. Even to this day, it's like
pretty
really
bad.
grotesque. And but I mean, that special effect's good. So obviously, Toxie has sixth sense because there's no way he would know the fucking guy is like dealing drugs unless he saw him behind the scenes and then changed his mind about it. But every aspect about this film is over the top, goofy, but it's a fun film. Like I wouldn't say this is like a bad movie at all. Like I don't know. I mean, it's bad. Like technically, maybe it's bad. I don't know. I don't know. I enjoy this kind of shit.
I can't think of anything bad to say. It's an amazing movie.
The only two things that I think bad is that there's two I saw this on YouTube. It's like an hour and 31 minutes and 24 seconds. and
Okay.
I think it's the uncensored version because it has like, I guess there's a version of the head smashing that's not really shown.
Oh, really? That sucks.
I don't know. So anyway, in this one, there's two sequences where the part where Toxie falls in love with Sarah, and like, you know, they have the whole scene where they're making love and stuff like that, and then it cuts back
Can you
to
imagine what his balls must look like?
that
Oh,
scene.
God.
That scene was literally like 10 minutes long, and it's funny because you see him, you know, having a good time, but then it would flash back to scenes from the movie that already happened.
Right.
But it was on Sarah's face. Like, I'm like, she didn't see any of that shit because she's blind. So I don't know what's going on with these flashbacks. And that dragged on for no reason. It was still funny. I think maybe that Trauma gave rights to the band to play that song. So they were like, we'll let you have the whole song if we have it for free or something. And
Right.
and the funny thing is that I got confused is that I kept mixing it up with a scene from the Toxic Avenger 2 because there's a different girl playing Sarah in part 2, and I thought she was hot, but I like the one in Sarah in this one is pretty hot though. She's pretty hot, and
all the girls in this are
but
hot.
I think in part 2 he's having sex with his girlfriend, the blind girl, and then there's like fireworks shooting out of his ass. That's what I remember. And then at the end,
I'm gonna have to watch those
when
again,
when they
man.
call the National Guard in this one. Like, the National Guard pulls out, and that's another, like, 10-minute scene, and then it starts showing sequences again from the old, like, from the movie, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, it felt like they had to pad out, like, extra minutes for the film for some reason. That's the only thing I was like, what the I mean, I still enjoyed the movie, so I don't give a fuck about that. But
Right.
that was, like, the only two things. I was like, what's going on here? But other than that, like, Sarah's relationship with Toxie is hilarious, because there's always, like, a scene where she hits him in the balls for some reason. It's just really stupid. I mean, it's funny, though. It's not like the part where he's dancing with her in the room, and he's like, it's like the worst dancing I've ever seen in a film. And the part where he has an orange cone on his head, and she's laughing, and obviously, how could she laugh if she's not, you know, she can't see anything? It's like fucking
Right.
stupid. It's like
They probably just forgot or disregarded her blindness.
yeah, no, it's just dumb. But that part definitely, when he puts that small lady inside the washing machine, was very funny. I love that part because I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, he really did go crazy. But it's very gory. I liked when Bozo gets his desserts. It was so funny. I didn't see that. You know that famous car scene that's always in every Trauma film? I thought that came from
Where
this
it
one.
explodes, yeah.
Yeah, where it flips over another car. I guess that must have came from Class of Nukem High. Because
Oh, okay.
I always thought it was from this one, but it had a good car chase sequence. I'll give him that. You know what I mean? Shit, it was good. Listen.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really low-budget movie, but they did quite a bit with it.
This isn't like a masterpiece, but it's entertaining. And if you're into like
No, I
schlocky,
would say this is a masterpiece.
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. I mean,
Not so much, but-
okay, I mean, it is a masterpiece for Z-grade cinema. It's like really good. It has a plot that goes straight ahead. I can say this. This movie is like an hour and 30 minutes, and I just recently saw the Ninja Turtle movie.
Mm-hmm.
I saw more character stuff in this than I saw in that one, and it's the
Well, I mean, Michael
it's the same
Bay
fucking-
is a horrible, horrible man.
let's just not even factoring that in because that was directed by Len, whatever the fucking guy's name is. But that is a movie that's made now and doesn't have like any like characters that you give a shit about. While this one, a lot of stuff happens. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know how the time flies in a film where it's just I'm sorry, I'm just like totally upset at how like how do you fuck up a movie where this movie is like made for $10 and there's a bunch of
They
characters.
fuck it up because they're completely relying on CGI and all this shit.
Right.
I haven't seen it yet, but I fully expect it's gonna suck, and I'm just gonna wait till it comes out and like download it or something. I'm not even gonna contribute money to it.
Because in this one, there's a bunch of memorable characters. There's the Irish cop, there's Cigar Face, there's the overweight girl. Even characters that don't really have names. You know, they're walking around and you okay, I know who this character is. And it's a whole
Right.
film, and there's characters. You feel like this city is for real, and this weird city has actual characters in that are dealing with the... I forgot what the original tag phrase was. I think it was superhero of... Oh, God... Oh, hideously deformed creature of superhuman size and strength. That's what I remember from the sequel. That's what they used to call Toxie. And the funny thing about the toys, when they used to sell the toys, like the action figures, the tagline was, they're gross, but they still get girls, which made me laugh my ass off. And also, this movie spots one of the worst bald caps I've ever seen in my life. When he cuts that girl's hair off, and she comes into the police station bald, It's the most obvious bald cap because the flaps are on her neck. They're really exposed, and it's not the same skin color. It's like the worst. That's the only worst like special effect.
But they
in
probably
the film.
did that to be funny.
I hope so, because that was embarrassing. Whatever that shit was.
If they could make a guy's head smash the way they did in that scene, then they could make
Yeah,
a
I
good
know.
bald cap.
I thought it was. I also thought it was very sweet when Toxie's making his house in that toxic dump, and he puts a picture of his mom up, and it says "mommy" with a heart on it.
Yeah,
It's
right.
a very sweet movie. Toxie's a very likable character in this film. And I don't know, there's like a sweet innocence to this film, even though it's like completely disgusting. That doesn't exist in the next like 3 chapters. Like they're more like over the top, like grotesque. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they're still interesting. I thought Toxic Avenger 4 was great.
He's a lovable guy. I would be
He
friends
is a
with
lovable guy, and he has like that nice guy voice.
He can make you popcorn just by touching the kernels.
But it's a fun like great disgusting movie. And
What would you rate it?
It's very sweet. I would give it for what it is as the best Z grade horror film I've ever seen. Probably a 10 out of as a film an 8, but a 10 out of 10. Throwing a girl on top of hot rocks and saying, "Hey, hot ass." There you go. That wasn't very good, but go ahead.
Okay. I would give it like a 9.5 out of 10.
Respectable.
Taking a little midget woman that has a white slavery thing that she runs and throwing her inside a washing machine.
That scene is hilarious. How she runs. She's like, "I gotta get out of here." She's trying to run through clothing. I don't know how hard it is to run through clothing. And then there's like such a horrible edit where Toxie's standing on the other side of the room, and it's like the worst edit, but it's so good. Oh,
Right.
That was a good movie. All right, so Ddanny, for Josh Muntz, this is the Toxic Avenger. What is the final word?
Odor elimination.
The horror deconstruction.